In the last shrimp setup, I went all out with a high-tech approach. Premium lighting, CO2, and even some fancy shrimp. This time, I'm going for a much simpler Iwagumi-style layout with an affordable light, a DIY CO2 system, and Neocaridina shrimp. I'm here in my friend's horse arena, and I asked him if I can go around here and find some rocks, because you see, there's a lot of rocks here. And he said yes, of course. So I'm just gonna walk around here, take you with me like this, and see what I can find. And I can see some smaller rocks down by the huge one that perhaps I can use for the escape. Right there I see some smaller rocks that maybe I can use. Iwagumi means rock formation in Japanese. I found some super cool rocks down here. And a classic Iwagumi has 4 types of rocks. Oyaashi, Fukuishi, Soeishi, and Suteishi. Those are the names of the rocks. Oyaashi is the main rock. Fukuishi is the balance rock. Sueishi is the support stone. And then Suteishi are the sacrificial stones. You know, just little scatter stones that just help guide the eye towards the Oyaashi. There's a rule in this, you know, like Italians have rules with pasta. Japanese has rules with stones. You need to have odd numbers. 3, 5, 7. It's the same thing in cooking if you're plating, you know. 3 potatoes, 3 flowers when you garnish the plate, 5 flowers when you garnish the plate. Never 4, never 6. It's too symmetrical. It messes up the balance, you know. So let's head back to the headquarters. Before we start scaping, I'm gonna go through all the ingredients we need to make this aquarium. To start with, we have this 12-liter aquarium. It's very simple, very cheap. I bought it at a hardware store near me and it costed next to nothing. And then we have this also cheap aquarium light from Aquael, and it has a few functions. Let me just see here. This is slightly blue. This is blue. This is normal. And then just to keep the water circling a bit, we have a hang on a back filter with a core sponge and some filter floss. The substrate we're going to use is aqua soil from Tropica, and this is the finer powder version, you know. And I spilled some on the table here and I thought, nah, that looks good for the video, so I left it there. And to give the plants an extra boost, we're gonna add some nutrient capsules, also from Tropica, because I want the plants to grow super fast. And the plant that I'm gonna use is Eleucharis pusilla, which is some sort of hair grass. You know, these are very good because there are no pests, no snails, and they're ready to go. I think since this is a medium plant, we need to have some CO2. So in this setup, we're gonna go with a DIY CO2 system with gelatin and sugar. And shout out MJ Aquascaping for the amazing recipe. As for the hardscape, I have a natural flintstone here that you saw me collect in the field before, and I think this is gonna give it a real nice earthy feel. We're also gonna need some equipment. I have some simple tweezers here for the plants, you know, to plant into the soil. We're gonna use reverse osmosis water, so we're gonna need some shrimp minerals. This is the shrimp mineral GHKH+, which is perfect for Neocaridina shrimp. Of course, to test that, we need a TDS pen, you know, to test the water, so we have the right TDS. And we're also gonna need a little timer for the light, because we don't want the light to be on for too long. We don't want to forget about the light. That causes algae and it's just the worst. And we're gonna keep the light on for 6 to 8 hours to begin with, and then slowly graduate that to 10 maybe. First thing that goes in the tank is a media bag. I might actually take out the bags. And there's just no way that I can do it with these inside. The mother rock you want to keep in the center, but a little bit off center. Maybe we need to keep it to the other side. Okay, so as for the plant, the Eleucharis, you simply open it, take it out of this pot. We don't want this liquid, we just squeeze it out. And now we're simply gonna open it like this and divide that into portions. So now we've reached the most difficult part, which is planting the plants. So what I do is I just grab it like this, sorry my filthy fingers, and I just twist it a little bit to make it a bit pointy. And I take my tweezers and I just place it very deep, let go and then push back, let go and then push back. Twisty, grabby, pinchy. So it's now the next day and we have a little haze to the water. I guess that's normal in a new setup. But also we have a problem. When I test the water, it's at 100 TDS, which means that the flintstone alters the water parameters. So I think I'm going to do a huge water change to get rid of the haze and also some of the TDS. So this might be a problem. I might have to do a constant water change every week with reverse osmosis water to keep the water parameters stable. But the shrimp that are going in here are used to over 300 TDS, so I don't think it's a problem. Let's quickly test the TDS now. Now we're down to 17. So now I'm going to add some of the shrimp minerals and I'm just going to add a little bit to this tank. Since the rocks are leaching, start with that. A 100 TDS. We start there and we let this thing go for a while and then we come back and see. I'm also adding some beneficial bacteria now. See where the TDS is at now. 127. This bright is pretty light. This bright is pretty light, so we're gonna add some floating plants to diffuse some of the light. And I took this from the OG shrimp tank, so there will be some beneficial bacteria from that as well. I don't want this to be an algae fest. Okay, but you probably noticed that I have the CO2 system connected, but it's not really done yet. We need to go into the kitchen and finalize the CO2 system. So let's do that now. So yesterday in a pan, I combined 250 grams of water and 250 grams of sugar, brought that to a slight boil, and then I added 4.5 grams of gelatin, and I let that set in this bottle overnight. So now this is set, and we're gonna pour some water, yeast and sugar on top of this to create the CO2 system. 1 liter of lukewarm water, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 2 grams of yeast, dry yeast that is, combine it with the water and the sugar, and make sure that it's very dissolved. And now you can see that the sugar-water mixture is laying right on top of the gelatin. The gelatin makes this system last much longer. So yeah, as you can see, we already have the CO2 diffuser installed with a little hose. The hose goes down here. And at the end of the hose, we have this check vault that is then again connected to another hose that has a little cap that fits the bottle perfectly, that I drill a little hole into. Secure that with some silicone, I think, or maybe super glue to make it airtight. And then we just put that on the bottle, like so. Make sure that it's extremely tight, you know, you don't want any leaks. And then we're gonna put it down here by the TV. And now we wait. Another day has passed. We're now at day 3. And as you can see here, the CO2 has started working. We now have bubbles. And in this little container right here, I have some shrimp. These are the shrimp that nobody likes. These are the discarded shrimp. No particular color. They're just transparent. Some of them are brownish. This is apparently what happens when you crossbreed shrimp too much and they just become ugly. But these to me are very special because they are the OG shrimp.